In just a few short years, the world as we know it could be fundamentally different. Global power dynamics are shifting. Economic influence is moving from the West toward Asia. Revolutions in artificial intelligence and robotics are set to disrupt job markets on a massive scale. And climate change is accelerating, with extreme weather events and conflicts displacing tens of millions and potentially up to 1.2 billion climate refugees by 2050. These converging disruptions will change your life unless you prepare. This urgent guide lays out what's coming and, more importantly, how you can adapt and build generational wealth amid the turmoil. Stay tuned for actionable strategies that could secure your future. The next 15 minutes of insights can change your life for good. The post-World War II era of Western dominance is ending, giving rise to a multipolar world as economic power shifts toward Asia, driven by young populations and a growing middle class in countries like China and India, while the West faces internal economic and geopolitical challenges. Simultaneously, the rapid growth of artificial intelligence and robotics threatens to replace millions of jobs across both blue and white-collar sectors, reshaping the global economy and requiring swift adaptation from workers. Climate change further complicates this landscape, already displacing millions annually through extreme weather events and potentially forcing up to 1.2 billion people from their homes by 2050, escalating geopolitical instability and mass migration. Overall, the coming decade promises profound disruptions through these interconnected trends, widening wealth inequalities and transforming global power dynamics. Yet opportunities remain for those prepared to adapt strategically. The future belongs to those who can adapt and take initiative. Next are key strategies applicable globally to help you navigate the coming turmoil. These are practical steps from where to live and how to work, to what to avoid and where to invest. Each is grounded in current trends and aimed at positioning you for stability and success. The single most important factor for quality of life and opportunity in the coming era will be location. If you are living in a country plagued by instability, be it extreme poverty, active conflict, or severe climate risk, consider moving to a more stable, prosperous country for the sake of your family's future. The numbers make it clear why. Peace and stability breed prosperity. On average, highly peaceful countries have per capita GDP 20 times larger than that of low-peace, conflict-ridden countries. In peaceful nations, economies are more stable, inflation and interest rates tend to be lower, infrastructure and education are better, and foreign investment flows in. By contrast, countries mired in war or chaos struggle to grow at all, trapping generations in poverty. We are already seeing a migration wave. Over 120 million people are currently displaced worldwide due to wars and persecution, and many millions more will likely flee climate-hit regions. Uprooting your life isn't easy, but choosing a safe, opportunity-rich country could be the best investment you ever make. It means access to better jobs, education, healthcare, and a secure environment for your children. If moving abroad isn't feasible, even relocating from a struggling region to a more dynamic city or province within your country can make a big difference. Don't forget, the place you live can either amplify your talent or stifle it. In the future, geography will increasingly separate the winners from the losers in terms of quality of life. Plan ahead to put yourself on the right side of that divide. When it comes to building wealth in an era of rapid change, bet on yourself. The traditional path of go to school, get a stable job, retire at 65 is becoming less reliable amid technological disruption and corporate volatility. Starting a business or side venture can be a powerful way to break through the ever-widening wealth gap. Why entrepreneurship? First, the wealth gap is indeed widening dramatically. In 2024, billionaires collectively grew $2 trillion richer, with fortunes compounding at record speed. Meanwhile, wages for the average worker aren't keeping up with inflation in many countries. To get ahead, you often need equity in something, not just a salary. That's where entrepreneurship comes in. Studies show that the majority of self-made millionaires, about 61%, are entrepreneurs who built businesses from the ground up. By creating a product or service and scaling it, you have essentially unlimited upside, whereas a job usually only pays what the position is worth. Entrepreneurship also enables social mobility. You don't need an Ivy League degree or family wealth to succeed. You need grit, a solid idea, and the willingness to learn. Importantly, technology is lowering barriers to starting a business. With the internet and AI tools, one person can reach global markets or automate tasks that used to require a team. If you can identify a problem people need solved, or an emerging demand, you can build a customer base anywhere. Of course, not every venture will make you a millionaire. It involves risk and failure, but even a modest business can significantly improve your financial position and stability, especially as traditional employment becomes less predictable. Think of it this way. When you own a business, you have a shot at the big rewards, and you call the shots on your destiny. Whereas sticking only to a job means someone else is capping your upside. In a future where the gap between the rich and the rest is set to grow, owning assets, whether businesses, equity, or intellectual property, is key to staying afloat and getting ahead. We're rapidly approaching a world where more people will have abundant free time, and that opens a massive opportunity for savvy entrepreneurs. AI and robots will automate many routine jobs, potentially shortening the work week for some and creating periods of unemployment or career breaks for others. At the same time, populations in many countries, especially advanced economies, are aging and retiring in large numbers. For example, by 2030, 1 in 5 people in the US will be over 65 and mostly retired, a demographic shift that is expected to dramatically stimulate the leisure industry and make leisure pursuits more socially acceptable. In other words, people will have more free time to fill, and they'll spend money to fill it. Historically, whenever leisure time increases, so does demand for entertainment, education, and hobbies. We've already seen this. Consider the boom in video games, streaming services, travel, and online learning in recent years. Going forward, businesses that cater to people's passions and pastimes are poised to thrive. This could mean content creation such as videos, podcasts, writing to inform or entertain, teaching or coaching skills in music, art, sports, languages, experience-based services like tourism, gaming, virtual reality adventures, or community-building platforms around hobbies and interests. If automation frees people from 9-to-5 drudgery, many will seek purpose and enjoyment in creative and recreational activities. Serving these desires can be very profitable. Even now, the creative economy is exploding and it will only grow. Consider focusing your entrepreneurial efforts on what people do when they're not working. Ask yourself, what will bored humans crave? Engaging stories, interactive games, fitness and wellness coaching, lifelong learning, social connection. These are hard for machines to replace, and demand for them will skyrocket. By positioning yourself in these leisure and self-improvement sectors, you align with a future trend. Just remember to leverage technology to scale your offerings so you're not just trading hours for dollars. An online course or a hit digital game can reach millions with near zero marginal cost. The key insight is that time is the ultimate commodity. When people have more of it, entire industries bloom to help spend it. Be on the supplying side of that equation. Technology is a force multiplier for anyone who knows how to use it. In the future, the difference between those who thrive and those who fall behind will often come down to how well they adopt new tools and skills. This means you should make a habit of continuously learning about and experimenting with the latest tech. Whether it's AI software, smart gadgets, data analytics, or whatever next big thing emerges. Why is this so critical? For one, being digitally skilled directly boosts your earning potential. Employers are willing to pay a premium for workers who can handle tech. Even having basic digital skills can increase your pay by 23%, and jobs requiring multiple digital skills pay 45% more on average than jobs with none. The reason is simple. Tech-savvy individuals are more productive and can do things others can't. If you're running a business, tech adoption is just as important. Early adopters of new tools can outperform competitors by cutting costs or reaching customers in novel ways. For example, using AI to handle customer service or generate content can save you hiring extra staff, allowing you to scale faster. Make it a routine to track tech trends in your industry or field. Try out new apps, follow tech influencers, maybe even take online courses on emerging technologies. Don't be the person who says I'm too old for this or I don't get computers. The future will not wait for your comfort zone. Also, equip yourself with smart tools. From wearable health monitors to AI assistants, modern gadgets can improve your productivity, health, and decision-making. A person using advanced tools will simply have an edge over someone doing everything manually. Remember, in the next few years we'll likely see AI and automation not just as industries, but as personal assistants in every profession. Those who know how to dance with AI, letting it handle the grunt work while they focus on creative and strategic tasks, will become extremely productive and employable. In short, keep learning, keep tinkering, and stay curious about tech. The more fluent you are in the language of technology, the more you can harness it to advance your career or business. When the world is changing fast, flexibility is a superpower, especially financial flexibility. One key strategy is to avoid piling up liabilities that tie you down or drain your resources. Think twice before taking on that huge mortgage for a fancy home, or leasing a luxury car that eats a chunk of your monthly income. In uncertain times, being over-leveraged or stuck with big fixed expenses can sink you. Many self-made millionaires understand this well. They live below their means and delay gratification. For example, it's common for millionaires to buy used cars, live in modest neighborhoods, and wear inexpensive clothes. By avoiding unnecessary debt, they keep their cash flow free for investments and opportunities. You don't have to be a millionaire to apply this. Don't buy stuff that won't help you progress, especially not on credit. That dream house could turn into a nightmare if it means you're stuck in one location with a huge loan, unable to pursue a better opportunity elsewhere. Similarly, a fancy car loses value the moment you drive it, and expensive toys like boats or gadgets can become money pits. Instead, stay lean with your possessions and focus spending on things that yield returns. Education, tools for your business or career, experiences that broaden your network or knowledge. Also, by renting or maintaining a smaller footprint, you preserve mobility. You can move cities or countries if needed to chase a new job, escape a declining region, or simply explore better prospects. The future will reward those who can pivot quickly. If AI wipes out your industry or your area faces climate problems, you'll be glad you weren't anchored by a 30-year mortgage and 2 car payments. This doesn't mean never own a home. Homeownership can build equity, but it means be strategic and not status-driven in what you own. A good rule of thumb is if an expense isn't either improving you or making you money, question it. The lower your personal monthly costs, the more runway you have to navigate career changes or invest in new ventures. Many opportunities like investing in stocks during a market dip or starting a side business require having some free capital or the ability to relocate, things you won't have if you're living paycheck to paycheck in an overextended lifestyle. By living light, you maintain resilience and freedom to seize the moment when big changes or big chances come. In a globalized but volatile economy, don't put all your eggs in one basket, especially not one country's basket. Building generational wealth and financial resilience means diversifying across geographies. Economies rise and fall, currencies fluctuate, and even governments can change policies overnight. If all your savings, investments, or business interests are tied to a single nation, you're vulnerable to local downturns. Instead, consider spreading investments around the world. Stocks from different markets, real estate in different cities or countries, or even international index funds. The benefit? International diversification can significantly reduce your overall risk. Research shows it's an even more effective risk reduction tool than just diversifying across industries. The logic is straightforward. When one region of the world is struggling, another might be booming, so a global portfolio can balance out the slumps. For example, a recession in country A might coincide with growth in country B. If you're invested in both, the gains can offset the losses. Likewise, holding multiple currencies or foreign assets hedges against your home currency losing value. We've seen this in practice. During various crises, Asian markets in the 90s, Western financial crisis in 2008, etc., those who had international assets often fared better. So how can you apply this? If you invest in stocks, allocate some of your portfolio to international funds or emerging markets. If you're into real estate, perhaps look at a rental property abroad or a real estate investment trust with global holdings. Entrepreneurs can think about serving global customers rather than just domestic ones or partnering with overseas firms. Additionally, keep an eye on safe haven assets like gold or inflation-protected bonds, which can be part of a diversified strategy. The goal is to ensure that no single event in one place can crash your entire net worth. Diversification also opens you to opportunities worldwide. Maybe the next big tech unicorn is in India or Africa, or the best property growth is in Southeast Asia. By being globally aware and invested, you participate in growth wherever it happens. In summary, think and invest like a global citizen. This makes your wealth more resilient and increases the chances of catching the upside of worldwide trends. In a world where the only constant is change, your most valuable asset is your ability to learn and adapt quickly. The strategies above: moving locations, leveraging tech, switching careers, etc., all depend on one thing: that you're willing and able to acquire new skills, knowledge, and mindsets throughout your life. The era of getting one degree or training and coasting for decades on it is over. According to the World Economic Forum, by 2030, about 44% of workers will require reskilling or upskilling to meet the demands of changing jobs. That's nearly half the workforce needing to learn new competencies within this decade. Whether you're 20 or 50 years old, adopting a student-for-life mentality is critical. This doesn't necessarily mean formal education. It means continuously scanning the horizon for what skills are in demand and being proactive in picking them up. If AI is emerging in your field, take a course on it or experiment with the tools. If a new industry like green energy or biotech is booming, read up on it. Maybe even pivot into it if your current path looks shaky. Soft skills like creativity, critical thinking, and emotional intelligence will also be at a premium because those are harder for robots to replicate. You might need to reinvent yourself multiple times in your career, and that's okay. In fact, it's exciting if you embrace it. Every skill you learn is like adding a tool to your toolbox, making you more versatile and resilient. Also, cultivate adaptability in a broader sense. Be open to changing your assumptions and habits. The strategies we discussed, like entrepreneurship or moving countries, require a degree of courage and flexibility. Try to step out of your comfort zone regularly, whether that's networking with new people, traveling, or taking on projects that scare you a bit. Adaptability is like a muscle, use it or lose it. The more you practice change, the less afraid of it you become. In practical terms, you can set a goal to learn something new each year, a language, a coding skill, a marketing technique, etc. Many resources like online courses, YouTube tutorials, and books are inexpensive or free. In the rapidly changing future, the best investment is an investment in yourself. Knowledge and skills are the assets that can never be taken away from you, and that can pay the highest dividends. So stay curious, stay humble, and keep evolving. This mindset will ensure that no matter what upheavals come, you can navigate them and seize the new opportunities they bring. The next decade will not be business as usual. It will be a whirlwind of economic, technological, and environmental change. The key message is urgency. You need to start preparing now for the world that's fast approaching. By understanding the major shifts and implementing these strategies, you can position yourself to not just survive, but thrive. History shows that great fortunes are often built during times of great upheaval, by those who anticipate change and act boldly. Be one of those people. Your future self and your descendants may depend on the moves you make today. The world is changing rapidly. Make sure you're changing with it. Take these steps to heart and you'll be far better prepared for whatever comes next. Perhaps even wealthier and more fulfilled on the other side of these major global transformations. Stay safe, stay savvy, and here's to your success in the new era ahead.